You want to give the intro?
Oh, yeah. It's a new week, it's a new day, and you know what that means. It's time for a new episode of First Issue Club. That's right, we're here with Budget King, Mike D, and Greg Lichtai, and we're here to talk to you about the hot, fresh, new #1 comic books of the week. On the docket, we have Adventureman and Rick and Morty Go to Hell. Boys, I'm excited to be here with you in the same room. Nigh 3 months since our last recording, we've done this.
This is like a little party. We had to play Billy Joel's Oliver and Company song to get us pumped to celebrate.
Oliver and Company?
The movie?
The hit
Explain.
Disney hit.
Yeah. Do you remember that with like the dog? And he's like, he walks around in the street.
Okay, so
Isn't
you
it
can't
like-
see this, but Budget King was like, the dog's like, and then he moved his head back and forth
He was
horizontally.
bopping. He was bopping with
Oh,
it.
yeah, that movie.
Is it kind of like, what is Oliver and Company based off of? Is it based off of
I think it's-
David Copperfield?
I think it's the dog version of
I mean, Charles Dickens? Jesus Christ. Listen, guys, I read comic books, not literature.
I think it's the dog version of Aristocats.
Aristodogs.
Everybody wants to be a cat. Yeah, so we're back. We're here. This is great. I'm giddy. I'm so happy with you. That I'm with you guys.
Yeah, no more audio issues for us.
This might be the best episode we've recorded in a half a year. Already.
Well, I have so much pent up aggression just looking through a Zoom screen at you guys.
Mm-hmm.
The dynamic's not quite the same when we're not in the same room.
We're not in the same room? No, it's terrible. I don't know how podcasts do it.
I think all the podcasts I listen to have suffered over the past couple months.
Yeah, none of them have gotten better.
No, that's true. Yeah. We're really thriving in this whole distancing lag thing.
Well, we really like Comedy Bang Bang, and like they've had to do episodes remotely, and I don't know how you do improv remotely.
No, because everyone's got to step on each other constantly.
Yeah, like you can't feed off the energy because you can't feel the energy. Did you guys hear that the hottest selling comic is Ultimate Fallout #4? This is the first Miles Morales
Oh,
appearance.
Yeah, it's like going for over $1,000.
Over
now.
$1,000 on eBay now.
Yeah.
Thank you, PS5.
Whoa. I almost bought it for $120. And I was like, that's too much money.
It was going for that like 3 weeks ago. No way it stays at 1,000 for long.
Do you guys own it?
No.
I do. I bought it for $40 on a Facebook group many years ago, and I thought I overpaid with $40, but I
Yeah.
wanted to have it in my collection.
You should sell it right now.
Oh, you
should we do
absolutely
it? Should we make an eBay thing right now and see if we can sell it?
I have, yeah, let's do it.
Without actual pictures of it.
It's just a picture that says "Trust me."
Dude, people
it's
buy
really
it
good.
anyway. Like, it's weird how many stock photos go up on eBay and still sell.
People do that all the time. It's
It's
wild.
bullshit. It's
Yeah.
just when something's that hot, they just stock photo it.
Yeah, and they just label it.
I think some
Very
people
fine.
like send like bullshit and just hope that you don't return it or whatever. Or, like it's
The
dinged.
return policy on eBay is arduous. It is not easy.
It's hard, yeah, especially when like PayPal's involved. That's cool that it's selling so well. That's great, actually.
Yeah, Miles Morales, I think, is going to be the new future for Spider-Man. It's only a matter of time before he appears in an MCU. He's already have Spider-Verse with Sony, which they're making a sequel with that. He's going to be in this new PlayStation PS5 game. And I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he said his son, who is under 5 years old, will not accept that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
I love that.
Miles Morales is Spider-Man.
So, so one of the big games on PS5 is gonna be Spider-Man.
Yeah, that one's coming out this year. I think it's holiday 2020 is what it said.
Which they haven't released the price tag for the PS5, but I can only imagine.
600,
I think 500.
500.
I'm more in the range of 600, but if it's 500 or under, I'll get it.
It's gonna be like 700 once you leave the store with everything that you need. Like
I'm sure they'll do bundles.
You know, like the extra controller and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, headphones.
I'd only play with me.
You only get one controller.
Yeah.
I never buy a new system without 2 controllers.
I'll get another one eventually.
No friends are coming over. I'm the only one playing this thing.
Aren't the Xbox controllers like $150 now?
Yeah. The
They're-
pros are.
The pros are, yeah.
Oh, the weighted ones. Yeah, nobody plays with those though.
Oh, really?
If you're a true gamer, you do.
Why
Fucking
even
casual.
make something with a price point that high then?
I've seen people play with them. They're nice. I mean, like if gaming was like your thing and you're drunk, and you're like, I'm gonna make that purchase, and then like you own this really nice thing, I could see you that being a thing that gets your jollies off.
Right. Speaking as someone who's paid over $150 for a comic book,
Right.
I can see someone buying that much for a controller.
Yeah. Did you guys like think that Venom 25 or anything like that like had any impact?
It didn't live up to the hype for me at all.
I
But-
honestly think COVID threw off the hype.
Like, cause Donnie was like really hyping that hard.
It was more of a recap issue than anything.
and
I mean, it foreshadowed a couple things. But
introduced a new character, right? A new version of Venom or
It
something.
was the cameo of Virus.
Virus, yeah.
right?
And so, and the big debate now was because the free comic book day was supposed to come before Venom 25, but that got screwed up because of the pandemic.
Now what is the actual?
So now in reality, the new cameo, the first cameo is Venom 25, because New Comic Book Day has moved to the second week of July.
which
Well,
will
is-
then be the first appearance.
Is that a first appearance or is that a cameo?
It's going to be a cameo, so it'll be like his
So it'll be two cameos.
quote unquote second cameo, yeah.
Jesus.
But Venom 26 also comes out that week. Comes out on Wednesday.
Oh, so you'll have like a dual.
Yeah, Free Comic Book Day comes out that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I need to talk about this real quick. This is a grind my gears scenario.
Oh, good.
Marvel is putting out new variants coming out either this week or next week, and it's nothing. The comic is blank and it says coming out every Wednesday. And it's like a shot to DC because their books are coming out like Tuesdays now because they have a new distributor and they're not with Diamond.
So I read a huge article, 2 articles about this, about shops dropping DC now.
Really?
Yeah, a couple shops dropping DC and like why they're going to do it. And I'm just like, I no offense to these shops if you're one of those people, but like it's basically because like you don't want to fuck with
Another
like
distributor.
outside of Diamond, and they feel like there's risk outside of Diamond.
I hate that because like if you get new books on Tuesday and Wednesday, that's 2 opportunities to get the same person into your shop twice in the same week.
Yeah, I think it's old school to be like the one day where everything's new is this day.
Also, those shop owners usually complain about monopolies anyway, so now they're just like, can't everyone be on Diamond to make it easier for me?
I'm not a shop owner. I know there's intricacies of it that I don't understand. But for me, I was like, so okay, this was another argument, is that I guess the distribution of DC is somebody like Midtown. Like I don't really know who it is, or if it is Midtown, and they consider that to be a competitor to like their shop. So they don't want to like give money to that organization, I guess.
Is it higher than the cost of Diamond, I wonder?
I don't think the costs were any higher. I think that they also had a laborious process where they made you zero out Diamond, which was probably annoying to then have to like go move it to the other side. And then they also went digital on a handful of issues too. But like Marvel did too. So you're going to ping Marvel for that and just not carry Marvel books. So
it's probably just a bunch of old people who are like, I want it the way it's always been.
yeah, I did see a younger shop do it though.
But I'll say too that Marvel tried this in the 90s and it didn't go great.
Really?
Yeah. They moved away from Diamond in like 1994 or 5.
Well, there's already a handful of indies that you can't get on Diamond, so really good shops should be totally fucking fine with this, and just be like, yeah, I already do that with my cool indies, these other indies.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I like that DC's shaking it up a little bit.
I don't care.
You don't care?
If
No.
I was a shop owner, I would hold, even if I got books and they were okay to sell on Tuesdays, I would hold them till Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah, I think I would. I
Yeah.
think customers might be frustrated who like come in to get first appearances and want covers and things to be like, now I got to come in 2 days.
So, let's talk about this for a minute. Nerd culture is like right now calling out all of like these racist things and like deleting them. So I don't know if you guys saw that Magic the Gathering like banned a bunch of like semi-racist cards that they had printed in the 90s.
No, I hadn't seen that.
Uh-uh.
One of the PS5 announcement games caught a lot of flack because the bad guys looked like indigenous African stereotypes.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
So I'm listening to this podcast right now called Rabbit Hole. You guys heard about it?
No, but I can guess what it's about.
Same.
Oh, tell me.
Carrots. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, every episode, pick a different topic, dive deep on it.
Go down a rabbit hole.
No, you guys are wrong.
Oh.
But it's not about carrots or that?
Well, no, Carrots is a good one, though. That was a great.
I guess sucked, but carrots is
It's a 6-part series on how the internet warps your mind. So it's a limited series. And it's essentially about like YouTube can like radicalize you, or it's about, and it gets into Gamergate for a little bit. And they essentially like talk about like how this happened in like Twitter and like how people get radicalized. And it made me think about like the shittiest of shitty people want their nerd media to be like this untouched version of them. Like, we don't want women, we just want Duke Nukem, we just want it to be the way that it was. Get out of our video games. And like, and I think Gamergate had a huge split in that. Like, I don't think Comicsgate had quite the epic like division or schism that like Gamergate did. And I don't think shops really felt that. Like, I'm not saying that it should be worse, but I think that like it wasn't, people weren't made to feel shitty if they were like, I just like old Superman the way he was, you know?
How do you mean?
I think that like people that are holding on to this version of nostalgia and don't want like POC writers and women writers and like women characters, they need to be put on blast more.
I think, well, I agree with the sentiment, but they need to have their minds changed instead of
Canceled?
Yeah, because then they become angry, and then they become even more rooted in their bigoted thinking, and then they find other groups that reinforce.
But they're
their
not gonna
thinking,
have
and
they're not gonna
like,
have their minds changed.
That's not true.
Yeah,
that's not true. I've known plenty of people that have had their mind changed.
That's good. Yeah.
I
mean, I guess that's a good point. If we can't have open dialogue with people that disagree with us, then what's the fucking point?
Right, because you're basically trying to combat them with their own methods.
Yeah.
And so it's just the snake eating itself over and over and over again, and we don't get anywhere.
Entropy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my hot take. That's BK's hot take.
Sizzling. Do we want to do any more news? What are your takes on Christopher Cantwell writing Iron Man?
I have none.
Was that you?
Yeah, it was in my.
Oh my god!
It definitely was.
It wasn't purposeful.
Okay, so no takes on Christopher Cantwell.
Do you have takes on Christopher Cantwell?
I love him. He's killing Dr. Doom. I think Dan Slott is a great guy, but his Iron Man run is like way too in the Marvel weeds. It's like honoring the history of like small little itty bitty things that happened in Iron Man 30, 40 years ago. And that's not accessible. One of the reasons I like Jason Aaron is that he does awesome things with characters you love, and he reinvents those characters, and it's consistently felt new and fresh with him for years and years and years. And I think that's really hard to do when you've been writing Marvel comics for like 10 years straight, right? To not start to get into the weeds and to just not do things that are fresh, but stuff that just like builds on the continuity and the mud and muck of all the history that you've created, right? So I love that about Jason Aaron, and I think every once in a while certain writers need to take a step back or push the pause button a little bit.
It almost seemed like a passion project for Dan Slott of just like, I love Iron Man this much.
And I'm going to prove to you.
And I'm going to prove to him how much I love Iron Man.
Yes.
And he did. He proved it. Yeah. But nobody wanted him to.
That sucks because I like him a lot.
I do too. His Superior Spider-Man was the most interesting, fun thing that's happened with Spider-Man in so long. And I love that it lasted like several years.
Yeah.
They committed to Dr. Octopus becoming Spider-Man for over 2 years. Fucking crazy.
And they're still doing it, right? Did it end?
That ended.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, have you guys stayed up with Spider-Man at all? The
What do you mean?
Like checked in on him?
No, is that the name of the title, the J.J. Abrams title?
Oh,
yeah.
it is.
Mhm.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Spider-Man. Yeah. Have you?
Have we kept up with Spider-Man?
I
That's
meant-
the one who springs like webbing out of his hand, right?
He's that guy.
Well, I was trying to. I didn't know if like that to webheads if like when you say Spider-Man, they're like, oh yeah, because you're not saying Amazing Spider-Man. Like I know what run you're talking about.
yeah.
That's what's so difficult about Spider-Man. Those broad strokes. The same paintbrush that JJ's painting
But
with.
let's be honest, we know Brad Strokes.
Oh yeah.
Every night.
But I didn't know if little Jimmy Abrams is still got it, or what's his name? His kid's
Hank.
name? Hank. Yeah, Henry.
Henry. Fuck.
Hank. Hank Abrams.
I'm pretty sure it sucks.
Okay. It wasn't bad the first 3 issues.
I don't know
How
if
was
it
it
ever even
not
finished.
bad? The
We-
premise seemed like it was stolen from another comic.
It was slightly enjoyable. We'd covered the first 3
The
on
girl
the,
they introduced was interesting.
on the
I liked
Patreon.
her.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take your word for it. I'm not gonna read it.
Comics be comics.
All right, I think that's all we have for news. All the news hits have been hit. I'm ready to get into the episode. So let's get this podcast started. Woo. Got it. Thank you, Sufjan Stevens.
Got you. Fucking got you.
Sick burn.
Called you Sufjan and you fucking deserved it.
Damn it. I'm such a fucking idiot.
And you took it.
Alright. You gotta say.
All right, so now we have Adventureman by Matt Fraction and the Dodsons, Terry Dodson, Rachel Dodson, Budget King. Good luck.
Thank you for that. Adventureman is out on Image Comics, and
There we have it.
So it is a pulp typed book. The cover looks as if it was like a bombshell cover, so that's a certain era of like artwork that I'm not gonna land on, but somewhere in the like 50s, 60s. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like World War II nose art for like the planes and stuff.
Yeah.
You get those like pin-up-y pulp.
Yeah, looking at the cover, you think it's like Airboy, but with a woman.
Yes, exactly. And so this is a fat boy, I think we would say in the business.
Jesus Christ, this thing was
Yeah.
big.
And it's basically 2 books, one of which introduces a whole superhero cast, which I'm still confused about if they are called Adventuremen or if their leader's last name is Adventureman.
I think they're known as Adventuremen,
Okay.
right?
No, wait. I think his superhero name is Adventure Man, and it's not like a Jewish last name. It's not like Adventureman. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I thought his last name was Adventureman.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
If it is, that's kind of funny.
We'll go with it. Yeah.
Okay. So first the book, it's actually just a high impact, really high energy action pulp book about a really cool superhero team. Then it, I think,
You just flippantly threw really cool in there.
well, I mean, interesting. Like there's some interest. It feels fun. It's a fun dip into a read. Then it switches to a deaf single mom that has 6 stepsisters of all different ethnicities, and somehow she's kind of tied to that book. That's as good as much as I have.
Can I? Yeah, I want to pause on that sentiment anyway. If you had a friend who adopted kids, and they had a white kid, a black kid, an Asian kid, a Hispanic kid,
Every color of the rainbow
a hearing,
represented.
a hearing impaired. Yeah.
yeah, a deaf kid,
Oh, one doesn't have legs, doesn't have feet.
yes,
Yeah.
there's a handicapped kid.
Yeah.
It just seemed like he was collecting kids like they were trading cards and is like, I don't have one of those yet. Like, what would you think of that friend?
Oh, you got a footless one? I'll take one of those.
That is so spot on.
I would be like, that fucking person is just like making it their life's mission to like prove to the world they're like better than me or something.
He's like his own UNICEF.
Like
I
almost
want
to the
all of
point.
them.
Yeah, it's like so in service to yourself to like present to the world
Right.
that it's like, I'm not a racist. I've adopted.
And by proving that
I've
point,
adopted one of each, and and none of them are men.
Right. I don't think that I did a good job of tying the two books together, but to my credit, neither did the comic book.
they spend a panel on it. The beginning of the book is literally a story being read to someone, and that's the middle of the book.
Okay.
It flips when you it's the mother reading to her child the adventures of Adventureman.
So when you were halfway through the Adventureman story, and you didn't know yet, we hadn't hit the reveal yet that it was not what the actual comic book was. Where's your mind? Are you enjoying it?
Oh, I was way into the first half. I loved it. I thought and I loved in the end Matt Fraction talking about how he designed every character,
Uh-huh.
and he named one after his dead friend, which was touching. I thought really cool, but then this like the whole pacing of it, I don't know. It lost me.
I am the complete opposite. I hated the first half of it.
Oh, okay.
And 5 pages in, I was like, I've already been slapped across the face with 20 one-liners in like
It was
5
super campy.
pages. It was so campy. And we've talked about this before, is that sometimes when people who aren't comic book writers write comics, they do these like old homage-y things that are over the top because they're like, that's what comics are.
That's
Like,
comics, baby.
camp and like
this is comics.
40s superhero style. Matt Fraction isn't that.
No.
So I was like, is this his just like homage comic? And then when it swapped, I was really relieved, I guess.
It was just such a pace change. Like, I don't think I disliked the second half. It just was very abrupt. And I was like, not complete. I just still don't even understand the lore of why they're connected.
No, neither do I. I think that's going to be a slower burning thing.
I think it actually happened. We're going to come to find out
Okay.
that the Adventure Man and his team were real. Because that woman that got arrested in the end, I think was the ghost woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Her
Yeah.
word bubbles were clear, just like the...
You guys didn't think it was cool when she took out ghost guns and shot people?
So, like, I enjoyed that because it was, like, I believe it was Matt Fraction just really leaning into the pulp aesthetic of the time of just, like, I'm going to throw in as many fucking one-liners as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Because Matt Fraction wrote Sex Criminals, right?
And Hawkeye.
And Hawkeye. Like, so he has very good comedic chops. So I don't think he was doing a hack job of it. I think he was just like, what stupid-ass one-liners can I put in there to probably piss off my old buddy Mike D?
I love him now.
On the First Issue Club podcast.
Now that I know it's like a parody of that, it was great.
Yeah. I think this is option 2.
Oh, fucking hell.
It has some type of, like, heat on it, like being
I
somewhere.
don't need that.
Yeah.
I don't want this anymore.
It seems a lot like Black Hammer in some ways.
Yeah. Instead of being lost somewhere, they're like, our characters forgot who they were, maybe.
Yeah.
And we're trying to like remind them.
Because in the end, the editor's notes, he spends a lot of time telling you all of the different characters of Adventure Man. So it's like they're gonna for sure
Go back to it.
Yeah. They're gonna be main characters.
One thing that we didn't really get into was that when the book swaps, there's the deaf mother reading the book to her son, and she looks just like one of the characters that was
Is that purposeful
in
though?
the group.
I
Yeah.
believe so.
When the ghost woman comes back to a bookstore that the mother owns, she's trying to like trigger her with this
Okay.
like book that she's given her, like an encyclopedia
So
of Adventure Man
here's
stuff.
the really crazy thing about this is that I caught up on Bang right before I read this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a whole thing in Bang is that like they're multiple people from different eras. And so I was like, am I just reading the same fucking book here? Like, you know what I mean? Like they're like able to seep into their consciousness of the past people.
Yeah, if this was a Matt Kent book, I would be like, it's part of the whole overlying universe.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so follow me on this one. So this is I'm showing them now the page of you get to meet all of the people of the Adventuremen, right? You get to meet the cast. It is also a diverse cast of characters. Follow me down this rabbit hole. Is the father collecting the daughters or the offspring of these heroes?
Oh.
My God.
Okay.
Like, is he the protector of the progeny of and is the old man
Adventure Man?
Man?
Maybe he is.
That's what it is.
Okay, that makes this book really good.
And it makes way more sense.
Did you guys have a favorite Adventure Man? Like hero?
No.
Ah!
Greg just dropped a bombshell on us. I'm not ready to move on yet.
You're right. Sorry. I didn't mean to keep
So
it moving.
yeah, so if you look at all because there's that page where they're going through all of the sisters, like I lied to her because of this, like
Yeah. That's what we're supposed to get from that page, which was my favorite design page of the whole thing.
Yeah.
so why is she lying to them? Like I don't get what the point is. Like
I don't think she feels like she's part of the
Yeah.
group.
is that what she thinks?
Well, she lied to them about why she took her hearing aids out. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She just didn't want to be present for the conversation.
Yeah.
And her like savant kid is like, you can't read
Yeah.
lips.
Okay, so that's what the dad looks like.
He's Adventure Man.
He could be Adventure Man.
Yeah.
You did it, Greg.
Yeah.
I
You
feel
figured.
stupid now.
Because in the book, the way the book ends is like some weird demon shaman guy gets like all his blood powers, and then it just ends right there.
Yeah.
And then the whole crux of the lesson from that book is sometimes there are no endings. Sometimes books just end.
So is our lead then the daughter of Ghost Woman? And that's why she came to see her?
I don't know.
I think she might be
Because she
the.
hasn't aged, it didn't look like. She wasn't an old lady.
She looked like the daughter of the pharmacologist.
Yeah, she looked like the daughter from the main woman on the like cover A.
Yeah.
Or fuck, she could be the daughter of the blood shaman guy. Who knows? But she's gonna be the main lead in this new book now. And oh fuck, she has to form her own team. That's gonna be her sisters. Each of the sisters had their own ability and their own special like thing that they brought to
One
the
of them
table.
literally had knives as feet.
Well, maybe not knives.
No, I think she said get your knives off the table. Right?
Well, they call when you run on those,
Oh, the
they call them
prosthetics.
blades.
Blades. Get your blades off the table. Okay, cool. Got it.
Adventure Man, you pushed me away and then you brought me back in.
This art is a little bit. It's really good. It's so solid. It's not my first taste of art. So like my.
This isn't your first taste of art.
It's not
I've
my-
had other art before.
I've had other art
I've
before.
appreciated plenty of art, believe you me.
I'm a museum guy. I also like to lift weights. It's just not like the first thing that I like am drawn to.
This style of art looks like it took a lot longer to create than a typical comic book, which is always kind of wows me. That it's like, damn, how much time did you spend making something that took me like under 10 minutes to
Right.
read?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
No, the character design is awesome, and they do like some really cool things. Where what I liked, I guess, were like they'll put the hairline down and then keep the eye behind it, which is like a very like anime thing to do.
I was just thinking so manga.
Yeah,
Like, notice how I said that?
That's so manga.
but it was like a cool like new spin on like pulp to like
Mhm.
introduce that into
Yeah.
it. This is a good book. I think it's worth like he's gonna be writing this book for a while. Okay, let me change subjects here because this is fucking crazy.
Oh God. You're switching more than this comic did, brother.
What is this podcast called? Rabbit Hole?
Got him.
Burn, sick Sufjan burn too. What is this shit on BK Day?
Keep it moving.
Did you guys realize that Matt Fraction had lived in Kansas City
No,
up until 2008?
We just missed him. We could have been best friends.
I
with
know.
Matt
And
Fraction.
buddies.
I'm like, why'd he leave? And then he went to Portland, I guess. But that's a big thing of his editor notes.
Fucking everyone in Kansas City went to Portland in 2008.
They
Give me a
really did.
break.
It was either Portland or Omaha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe Austin.
Yep. Austin was a big one. New York a little bit, I guess.
I
That's where I went in
don't know
2008.
anyone that moved to New York.
And then half of you motherfuckers came right back.
Yep. Yeah. So anyway, shout out to us, I guess.
God, that's going to be cut from the episode so quickly. That diatribe we just went on was just...
Like shout out to us, I guess.
So this was 2 books.
It felt like 2 books.
But if you would have done the first half of it as one book, I would have been like, nah, what the fuck?
I
Like,
agree with that.
It needed to be this big.
So the first book should have ended, theoretically, the first book to hook you should have ended with the mother ending the story.
The reveal that it was just a story being told.
And that would have hooked you enough for number 2.
Right.
Okay.
What
Maybe.
the way they should have done it is like make the first book the free comic book day book. It's like the origin.
Oh, yeah.
And then just make the...
I wouldn't have even minded if it was like Adventureman was the name of the free comic book day book, and then you rebranded
Yeah.
like, the whole other thing. So it was like you read the comic book that the kid was reading. When he
That's
started.
awesome.
That would have been cool.
They should have consulted us.
Yeah.
Well, do you know that Matt Fraction was in Kansas City? He lived here until about 2008.
We could have been consulting. I was thinking, like, do you guys ever think about, like, if only, like, maybe I met him, maybe I talked to him while he was just
Like
like
I
walking,
bumped into him at a
walking
bar.
on the street, yeah, and he was like, I could have been the inspiration for Adventure Man.
Yeah. Like a popular watering hole down here is Buzzard Beach. We probably could have bumped elbows with him.
Yeah, and he's like, what are you reading, Budgie King? He's like, I'm reading pulp, kind of, but then I'm also thinking about a mom who's hearing aids and stuff, and then
And he's furiously writing down notes. in his
yes,
notebook,
and then
just like,
12
oh my
years
God.
later, just fucking crazy.
You guys gonna pick up number 2?
Yes.
Is this? Do we know? I know we always ask this in every episode. We should probably stop. But is it a maxi or is it?
This
Was-
is gonna keep going.
Okay,
I think from what he said from the back, it seemed like he's got like lots of.
he's got plans.
lots
It
of
was
things.
cool. Like I agree with you guys. I hate to go back to it, but I love the character design of the good guys and the quote unquote bad guys. Like there was a lot of fun, like playful thought and put into this.
I think that Black Hammer set Jeff Lemire in a certain echelon that he hadn't achieved yet, which was kind of crazy to say that about him because he's so accomplished. And I think I read a preview on this saying that like this is Matt Fractions Black Hammer.
Jeff Lemire started Black Hammer. I was thinking like this is his Hellboy.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
Like,
yeah, there
the
we go.
expanded universe
Yeah.
of like all these. It was an easier comp too because it's on the same publisher as Hellboy,
Yeah, for sure.
but
Hey,
it can like spin out into other comics.
speaking of Hellboy, you see Ron Perlman and Donald Trump getting into it on Twitter.
No, I didn't.
That's why I don't like Twitter. When the president can just start arguing with Ron Perlman.
One person was like, "Oh, okay, a Nazi wizard brought you back," or whatever, and Ron Perlman was like, "Yeah, I played that character."
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not really Hellboy, you fucking idiot. I shouldn't have to explain that to an adult.
I think he called him a fuckboy. Ron Perlman did.
Good.
awesome.
Hell yeah.
I was in an anthropology class at a community college, and we started talking about some sort of like delineation in history, and someone raises their hand and says like, well, what about like cavemen and dinosaurs? And the teacher stops for a second and they're like, cavemen didn't exist the same time as dinosaurs did. And they were like, nah, I think they did. And our anthro teacher says, no, I mean, you might have seen that in like cartoons or something, but that's not a real thing. And then the person in class says, so you're telling me all of Jurassic Park was a lie?
Oh my god.
I like this guy. I want to find this guy.
At which point, we were all like, even the teacher had this like look on his face, like, what's happening? Am I being like, are you fucking with me? Or are you the dumbest person I've ever taught?
The person thought Jurassic Park was a documentary.
There's no cavemen in Jurassic Park. Like
It's only dinosaurs.
The layers upon layers of stupidity by this person.
So I think
So you mean to tell me, Mr. Professor Man up there on your golden throne, that Jurassic Park, one of the peak cinema achievements of this generation, is a fucking lie?
Steven Spielberg lied to me?
The documentarian Steven Spielberg is a fucking liar?
It would have been more poignant if he was like, "You're trying to tell me the Flintstones isn't real?"
Yeah.
At least the Flintstones has both of the things he's talking
Yeah,
about.
Yeah.
right. I think in this guy's head,
We're cavemen.
Oh, all people are
All
cavemen.
people are cavemen.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
I think in his head, when they do like the explanation of dino DNA stuff,
Yeah.
that he subbed in cavemen into that explanation and was like, when they were explaining dinosaurs to me, they showed people, which never happened in the movie.
Listen, Professor, I don't want to ruin
So
your
you're
fucking
telling me Jurassic
experience here. Caveman lived in caves. Dinosaurs walked outside of the caves. That's why cavemen had to go into the caves to hide from the dinosaurs.
Yeah, what were they hiding from then?
What your your explanation, Doc, I'm sorry, is flawed. So flawed. You're telling me Fred and Wilma, the Flintstones, not true? What was their garbage disposal? They didn't have electricity back then.
I almost hesitated on telling you the Ron Perlman thing, but I'm so glad I brought that up.
God.
Although you are a big Da Vinci Code guy.
I love Dan Brown.
And
However, he doesn't believe the Da Vinci Code is real.
no, he does. I think Dan Brown does.
No, I'm talking Mike D.
Do you?
Believe the Da Vinci Code is real? I mean, it's firmly placed smack dab in the middle of the fiction section in bookstores. I'm not sure what I'm being asked.
Do you think the Louvre has like secrets that they're not telling people?
We have to get it drunk to get those secrets out.
No.
You've never once thought that.
No.
No.
Okay.
What?
This is a slow
Is this a thing people think?
a slow burn into, I don't know, guys.
Well,
Jet fuel can't burn steel beams. There's a thin line between the Da Vinci Code is real and I don't know. That was a controlled explosion on Tower 7.
Right.
So let me explain why I like him. He writes books that, even though they're like but intellectual with like references and stuff, it's a dumb action movie. Just like I like John Grisham novels. I think Dan Brown's the same sort of thing.
Or do you like the National Treasure franchise?
I had fun with National Treasure, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just fun, escapist reading.
Yeah.
And he's really good at that. He put a little thing in the front of the book that said all of the like historical references and mentions of this, that, and the other are true or based in reality. He's such a fucking atheist, this guy, that he was just like,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Jesus was actually like this way and didn't actually do this, and Christians don't want you to know this. And the book was a little too heavy-handed with those sorts of things to just be like a fun adventure book. But he did try to base some sort of... I think he was probably like an art history teacher or some bullshit before he started writing books.
I was trying to think of a book that like crosses the realm of like fiction / reality, like is true, but is also like fake. Like maybe that's all that all this guy in your class had ever seen was the Da Vinci Code in Jurassic Park.
That's the bit.
Yeah.
I've seen 2 documentaries in my life. One, Jurassic Park, which explains very thoroughly cavemen, dinosaurs living
Get
together
over somebody
in
calling
one.
Jurassic Park a documentary.
2, Da Vinci Code, firmly cementing into my brain. Angels and demons exist, and the Louvre has a secret door with some cool shit behind it.
Okay, I don't want to lose this character of guy who thinks Jurassic Park is a documentary.
Okay, we got him. We got him cemented in. He's not going anywhere.
Hang on. You're telling me that Dino DNA isn't a southern gentleman who can talk to me?
And is a coil of RNA and DNA together?
Does that?
He taught me everything about being a man.
Not to be rude, but how the fuck did you get this job, Professor?
Does the animation have?
In hand quotes when I says professor.
You seem like a real dumbass.
Hang on. Does the animation actually have a southern accent?
Dino DNA.
Yeah,
it
you're
does.
right.
He wears a cowboy hat at
It
one
might as well be
point.
fucking Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
I always thought
It's finger licking good.
I always thought it was the paperclip from the Microsoft.
Clippy.
Yeah,
It looks a lot like
It does,
Clippy,
yeah.
playing like that character.
Well, he auditioned for it, but he didn't get it.
As Dino DNA, Clippy. He's credited in the credits.
I bet that guy believes the Earth is flat too.
Yeah, he's probably one of those guys.
Sweet. All right, let's get into Rick and Morty Go to Hell. I prefaced that with but I don't want that to affect the viewer on our review that we're about to
You
give.
did have a big sigh there. It was good.
Budget King,
Yes.
you want to shoot this one out of a cannon?
Yes. This is Rick and Morty Go to Hell, and Ryan Ferrier did this. He did Dave, spelled with a 4.
I love that book.
Yeah,
Clever.
which is a really good book.
Ryan Ferrier, great writer.
Mm-hmm. Very funny sci-fi. I think this is probably a big look for him, unless he's been on Rick and Morty books before. And sorry if he has already. So
We're not experts, so shut the fuck up.
This is very, very much Rick and Morty fan fiction, in that Rick is doing the entire thing through the whole book, where he's like throughout.
Yeah, did we need that? We did not
Brap.
need that.
I don't think that does not translate to a comic. Just let me tell you, Dan Harmon. If you have any say in any of your comic books, just your cool
Nix that immediately.
your cool bit about Rick burping all the time because he's an alcoholic or whatever. Let's cut that.
Or he has fucking GERD or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Budget King, editor.
Amateur editor. Freelance editor.
Freelance editor.
For no pay. Pro bono editor.
Pro bono. Freelance editor.
I freelance for the top position.
And
Experience? None.
Essentially, this book is like a lot of characters go to hell. Shredder's been to hell. I think Predator, things like that.
You
So
gotta do it.
yeah.
Spawn.
So yeah, born there actually, I think. So you bring them to hell, and then they're figuring it out. What I think is fun is the whole family is also in hell. So something killed them to put them there. Rick is in complete denial the entire time. By the way, I mean, if I'm telling you the names of these characters and you're like, who are these people?
Turn the podcast off.
The book is not for you. This book is 100% for Rick and Morty fans and nobody else.
And as speaking as someone who's only seen one episode of Rick and Morty,
Oh, this book was fucking terrible.
it was a fucking trudge to get through
Yeah,
this.
if you don't watch Rick and Morty, I don't even know. Turn off the episode, I guess.
So what?
Do you not watch Rick and Morty?
It's not that I'm avoiding it. It's just I haven't gotten around to it.
What? You would fucking love it.
It's a
I'm
great show.
I'm sure I would. It hasn't gotten down to my list yet.
My sister fucking loves Rick and Morty, and if you know my sister, that's saying something, because she's not like, oh, Sonic's teeth. She's not like one of those people.
Sonic's what a fucking take to have.
Which, hey, I want to start this today. Release the teeth cut.
Oh my god.
Please, release the teeth cut.
Yeah,
we need the
we
teeth
should
cut.
get the teeth cut.
Get your teeth cut.
When I think about Rick and Morty fans, I think about. Did you guys ever see that movie, 7th Grade?
No.
Or
Eighth grade.
8th grade, I'm
Eighth
sorry.
grade.
Yeah, I demoted it.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Oh, you said 8th grade. And in the end of that movie they like quote Rick and Morty as they're like kind of like blossoming of like friendship or whatever, and it was like, yeah, I think like younger kids are Rick and Morty shapes them in a way, but it is a good show. It is awesome.
Yeah.
It does have a little bit of like Joe Rogan-ness, blow your mind, white guy searching for some self-actualization in it, like atheism kind of
heavy on the atheism.
like Dawkins type of thing. It gets a little bit of beef about being like in that. I don't even want to say alt-right, but like a little bit more like leaning towards bro culture. But other than that, it's a solid show. Not that we need to talk about Rick and Morty in general because we're talking about.
Well, no, I think that's actually pretty good context to have for this comic because this is so deeply rooted in the mythos of Rick and Morty. Because I've seen one episode, and in the one episode, Rick, who's the uncle or grandpa,
You don't need to explain that.
is always fighting with the dad.
They hate each other.
So that's what the dynamic is, and you see that in this comic book. And if you didn't have any of that preconceived knowledge, you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this going on right now?
And it's funny because that's his father-in-law. So like,
right.
It's funny that he's shitting on the person that married his daughter. And one of the like strongest things about the show for me is like how much Rick hates the world and thinks like he's so smart, but he has love for Morty and they go on adventures all the time, and like Morty's his best friend and like Morty's his like moral compass. So there's like this really like warmth to it beneath all this like absolute insanity that I love about the show. I liked it more than Community, to be honest.
Holy shit, there's about to be a throwdown.
You haven't watched it, so you can't say anything yet.
Community
That is true.
Community is great. I mean, and it only gets better as it goes on. I felt like
I also love Community, even though they put Yahoo out of business. If you don't know the context, I think Yahoo bought the rights to Community and made a like 7th or 8th season of the show.
They did 2 seasons.
They did 2 seasons to like kickstart their own streaming platform.
Yep.
And it tanked.
Not because of Community, just that Yahoo should have never dipped their toe into the streaming TV series.
No reason to try to compete with Hulu and Netflix, which have so much going on when you don't own any other IP except for like Community.
I think that like
it must have cost so much money to make those 2 seasons.
Right.
I think people confuse them. Like as they're starting streaming services, they're like, "Oh, I'll have this one entity." Like Quibi's big thing was Punk'd.
Oh my god! If I hear Quibi one more fucking time.
Also, you have to watch it on your phone. Fuck off.
They changed formats.
Did they really?
They finally were just like, okay, we're getting fucking railroaded.
Put
here.
it on TV.
Don't be an
It's
asshole.
2020. I can watch stuff the way I want to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get like their idea was pretty brilliant. Of just like you're waiting in line, you're on the bus, you want to watch digestible 10-minute shows.
Quick things, yeah.
Fine. Like throw it up, watch it.
But I think you got to put the user in control. Like I'll decide.
For sure, totally.
I can do that on YouTube. I don't need a whole service that just does that for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So this Rick and Morty book is tough to talk about outside of the concept of like it's just Rick and Morty, because it like the hellness of it doesn't go that crazy into hell. I didn't think.
No, one of the interesting things about hell in this comic is that there seems to be a lot of like bureaucracy. And they go to like fill out
which we've seen that take
forms.
before.
Yeah.
And like the whole like they're gonna torture you, which is that's
But it's
interesting.
But it's like business as usual. And it's like it's torture time.
I guess they're gonna. One narrative, this whole thing is like Rick's denying that they're actually dead because he doesn't believe in an afterlife.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like they're gonna kind of like figure that out, I guess.
Well, and they've been to so many parallel universes and other worlds. Like Rick is obviously he's the scientist of everyone. He's like, no. Well, there's no afterlife, so we're not in hell. Hell's a fictional thing.
So hit TV shows that are like popular with adults have a long history of comic books. The Adventure Time comic book nobody thought was going to be a big deal, and it went bananas.
Right.
And had so many offshoots and went like crazy. And like
Bob's Burgers had a long-running comic book.
I think still, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gumball, which was a Cartoon Network show. There's been a ton.
And people like them a lot. And so Rick and Morty, the comic book that originally came out, I own it, you own it. the like first one, but like I thumbed through it and I was like, this offers me nothing but just like more of the episode kind. It's like a bad version of the episode kind of.
I'll say that I've read bad versions of the episode, and I've also read ones that I'm like, this feels just like I'm getting another show, which is like great. They read a little smoother. I'll say specifically, Mr. Poopy Butthole had a miniseries. Greg, if you
I know of him. I know he's like a
of him.
banana. And then like I know the big thing is just like Pickle Rick. Every fucking person on the internet, Pickle Rick, and I think that's why I kind of have pressed pause for a little bit because I'm just like, oh, that's like their Deadpool of their Rick and Morty thing.
It's so weird. Yeah, that one really like picked up, and it's just one episode.
It is just one episode, which
Right,
is weird.
right.
It's like such a throwaway thing, but people love it.
They fucking latched onto it.
It was funny.
And then it also
Join my new podcast where I watch Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty also has this thing that Family Guy did a little bit of, but Midnight Gospel certainly does. You kind of have to think about and be like, oh shit, like that's actually pretty poignant. Like that's going to get me to think about something, not just like yucks.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest strengths of Rick and Morty.
I always bring up the Book of Mormon as a reference point for this sort of thing. Like, they could have just made fun of Mormons and been stupid for an hour and a half, 2 hours, but instead the message of the movie is kind of sweet.
I've never seen it, mainly because it has the word musical in it.
It's fucking
It's hilarious.
amazing. You would lose your shit.
It seems right up my alley.
It
and I
100%.
and I
is.
really like them as writers. So
Were you the one who told me that when they won their Tonys, they're just like, we're very happy to win this Tony. Unfortunately, one of the writers, Joseph Smith, couldn't be here. He's been dead for a few hundred years.
No, I didn't hear
wait,
that.
did I ever tell you? I used to go to a shop that the guy on multiple occasions would tell me that Matt Stone and Trey Parker, he believed were gay, and that's what made them such a strong duo of a writer.
Did that guy not know anything about friendship or collaborating with other
I
people
know.
creatively?
He would just like, this was his big conspiracy theory, and he'd be like, that show's so good, and it's because they love each other.
You
more,
telling me
more than friends?
You telling me two dudes in a room that write a hit TV show aren't gay?
Are fucking?
I'm sorry. That's just wrong.
Yeah,
That's like saying cavemen and dinosaurs
I
didn't
like
exist
that guy,
at the same
and
time.
I liked that he would forget like, A, I was the guy that he told this to, but B, it's like he just was playing the greatest hits for whoever was walking the door.
Well, that's how any good conspiracy really takes off. It's the repetition of it. You got to
Yeah.
tell everybody over and over and over again. I heard Matt Parker and Trey Stone were gay because they're such good friends. Did you hear that? They created South Park. You tell me they ain't kissing.
What a waste of a time of a theory.
Yeah.
Like, what do you walk away from that conversation like knowing that like changes your day at all?
Also, I love how slyly bigoted it is. He's not saying, man, I hate those gay bastards. It's just like, hey, they got to be gay. How can they be working so well together?
And
You know, dudes always be fighting.
I think like some people get off on like their thing that they know that you don't know.
This guy would have a heyday with this podcast. You tell me 3 dudes are in a room talking about comic books and they ain't fucking each other in their ass?
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we don't break out into just sex.
Some oiled up orgy on the podcast.
We just have such magic together.
It's a fucking raw connection. I'll be amazed if this makes it into the podcast.
No, I think this is good.
Golden material.
This is what people, when they come here and they see we're covering a Rick and Morty book, nobody expects us to actually cover the Rick and Morty book.
You fucking know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, and there's not. I think Hell. I was cautiously optimistic that Hell would bring a different spin on it and make it like wowza.
Nope.
But it was still just for Rick and Morty fans, which is like, I don't know, fine. Yeah, like if you're a Rick and Morty fan, now you get to see him in Hell and enjoy that.
Yep. Take it or leave it, idiot.
Yeah. I think we've seen every interpretation of Hell there is. You're reading this book because of Rick and Morty, or if you're a big Hell fan, you pick it up.
I'm more of a Hell fan, I think.
Yeah.
I was reading this thinking
Oh
like,
shit! There's a new Hell book. Hell yeah! Let's do this. Love
what,
that fire and brimstone.
what is Hell standard for? Like because when you
What?
when you bring your character
One
to
of the oldest abstract concepts.
there you go.
What do you think Hell means? Oh wow! How much time we got on the
Like
podcast?
Godzilla in Hell, like do you make him like, is it debauchery? Is that what it is? Like, is it supposed to be like, is it crazier? Do you make the crazier thing crazier by putting it in Hell?
I think you give if Godzilla goes to hell, his hell is working like a 9-to-5 job at like a pharmaceutical company.
Oh, that's not what happened in Godzilla.
And like
no.
he's like an accountant, just in a tie and like a cubicle, just like
we need to
making
write
spreadsheets.
we
all
need to
day.
write some in Hell books and do.
What character do you want to see go to hell?
Oh.
Blue from Blue's Clues.
What character do I not want to see go to Hell? Rugrats in Hell would be great.
Oh my God, Rugrats in hell would be so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but Tommy can't go because he's Jewish.
He doesn't
And
believe in
They
hell.
don't believe in the concept of hell.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I think.
Not to dunk on you.
Well, then I think Angelica couldn't go either, right?
Correct. Yep, that's true.
Okay. And is Chucky Jewish?
I don't think so.
Okay. Phil and Lil?
I don't think so.
All right. I'm glad we covered off
Yeah.
on that.
Oh, Phil and Lil are Southern Baptist.
Oh yes.
Who would you guys want to see in Hell?
you.
Go to Hell? Me?
Budget King.
Budget King goes to Hell?
King goes to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
That's a great one,
I'd read
actually.
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They make you the devil. 'cause he's just-
as cool as I thought.
He's just way better at it.
Guar goes to heaven.
That'd be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, more people could go to heaven, I think. Hellboy goes to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. Hellman, some motherfucker.
What a fun bit that fizzled out.
Who are you gonna send to hell? Because you guys ended it with sending me to hell.
No, this is good though. Like if you're listening to us and you're on, follow us on Twitter.
Tell us who's.
I want to hear who you want to see go to hell or heaven in a comic book.
There's gonna be so many, just like Donald Trump.
No political. I don't want fucking. If it's so obvious, don't even do it. Make it funny. I
Is
want.
it supposed to be funny or
I want to.
genuine?
I want to see the Undertaker monster truck go to hell. That's the kind of shit I want.
Here's what I want to see. Surprise me that the person you name, the storyline is actually going to be better by them going to hell.
Yeah. Okay.
What were you saying?
Oh, that. You just kind of stole my thunder.
I did.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That was the thing we had.
Which
Yeah.
gives
This is what being
credit to
this
his
is what being in the
Budget
room
King
is
go to
like.
hell.
Mhm.
We couldn't do this if I was in my room. I wouldn't have stolen your thought.
No, because it would have been like, oh no, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my internet doesn't work.
Oh, I think Greg's frozen.
The best thing about not being in the same room was we didn't have to fight the urge to fuck each other.
I've slowly been taking off clothes the entire time we've been in here. Caitlin's at home. It's my three dudes. Which pole am I gonna ski with? Well, I had a great time with you guys talking about comic books.
Mhm.
We covered a lot. A lot of ground was covered. We'll see what new adventures await for us next week on the club. Follow us on the socials. Rate and review. We haven't said rate and review in a long time. iTunes has this rate and review system. Please go do that. Tell your friends to do it. Tell your pastor to do it. Whatever it takes. Just get us 5-star reviews.
And we don't always put the credits in, so
I don't always put the credits in whenever I edit.
Primary Color Music does our theme music, so
Yes.
we should make sure that they always get shouted out. They are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I think Planet Comic Con in Kansas City is tentatively still in August.
there's no fucking
that's
way.
not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's a joke.
Yeah, give
Like
me a break.
any Comic Con saying they're gonna happen right now is a joke.
It is a joke. It's a sick joke. But we're gonna be there. Should we cancel if that is still going? Is that a conversation for off the air?
No, I don't think it's gonna happen. If they
If they say we're gonna do it,
then we'll do it.
we'll mask up.
Yeah, I'll wear one of the Flaming Lips balls.
Mask on them.
Mask on. Fuck it. Mask on.
That'd be so funny if we have masks on the entire time during the panel.
We should just cosplay, yeah, as Chewbacca.
We'll cosplay as the real heroes, which is the nurse and doctors of this great country.
That's a good point. Yeah. I was gonna make a joke that would drive that.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye, everybody. See you next week.
This has been another episode of First Issue Club. We are a proud member of the Fountain City Frequency family of podcasts. Our music is provided by Primary Color Music. We are recorded in KCUR Studios. You can find us, rate us, friend, and follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, email, and your favorite listening platforms at First Issue Club, FIRST.